Hello, welcome. I'm Will, the Nerdy Nerf Herder. Once again, we're shiny hunting on Shiny Sunday, and we're going for our Latios still. I didn't work on this hunt any while I was away from you all. I have spent most of my time in Pokopia trying to get stuff together for it this since we're approaching the end of Pallet Town. Which, since the last Pokopia stream, I have managed to um, I managed to get it where we can start redoing the electrical grid for the resort area, that campground. So I've got two furnaces built and the initial floor plan mostly done for the storage unit. Hello, welcome. I hope you're having a wonderful Sunday afternoon. If it's afternoon yet, wherever you are. Well, welcome back. Happy to have you. The Finnegan hunt, I think, was a little more interesting than this hunt. I just feel like soft resetting all the way to the title screen can be a bit dull. But we are going after the final legendary that we can shiny hunt in Legend ZA. So once I get this, it'll go into the shiny living decks. And then all I need from there to get the shiny Volcanion will be an Overquill. So, like, we've already got the Swords of Justice as well as Latios. So, which I posted the stream where we got Latios on YouTube. If you missed that or want to watch that, but yeah, soft resets like this are my least favorite way to hunt. Like, for some reason, like, I can sit there and like endlessly warp back to the map, but and it's not as bad to me as the soft resets. Which I will warn you, uh, with this particular hunt, there have been a couple times, like last Sunday, I did this hunt, we weren't able to get it. There were a couple times I warped back to the entrance, which completely messed up our save state for being able to just, you know, pull it right up where it's freshly loaded in. Or, well, once we step on the platform and use it, it loads in. But yeah, so I'm trying not to hit the start menu so I don't accidentally fly back to the gate. Oh. So we've been working a lot on Pokopia. We're on, I'd say we're past the midpoint on our KOTOR playthrough. So we will be finishing that up soon. We're almost done with Pallet Town and Pokopia, so I was thinking maybe we might do for the late night streams, change it up a little bit. I'm willing to take suggestions. I'm more than happy to do like more shiny hunting, Stardew Valley, KOTOR 2. Kind of curious what people would like to see. I've also considered building some Lego Star Wars pieces live on stream if people would be interested in watching that. So if you're watching this on YouTube, please post in the comments. Let me know what kind of content you would like to see. Noted. So like right now, I only shiny hunt one day a week, and That is partially because I've been putting a lot of focus on Pokopia. But I would be definitely open to doing more shiny hunting. Um, there's still plenty of Pokemon I need in Legend CA. There's there's plenty of hunts out there for me to do. I need to double check that I didn't shiny hunt Arceus on BDSP because I think I can shiny hunt Arceus there. And if that's the case, I should probably do that. Though I think I may already have a shiny Arceus from like a distribution ages ago. But yeah, there's plenty of shiny Pokemon I still need from my shiny living decks, which I figure if we get the shiny Latios today, I could probably go ahead and like load into home and show what where we're at on that because like we've made some progress with my shiny Sunday streams here since I first showed it off. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Happy to have you. Like, there's even some Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee shiny Pokemon that we could shiny hunt. Hope you're having a wonderful Sunday afternoon. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. It's all good. We're just here having a chill time, trying to get this shiny Latios to spawn. But yeah, we'll load in home and I can kind of show where we're at. And if you see something that you'd like to see me hunt, um, you could shout it out and we can try to target that. Or I think I had another hyperspace where there's something I can. I want to say no, the rock and ice type fossil for this Auroras and Amara. I've got a hyperspace zone that they. This is what I do, and it messes up our save point. I'm so used to hunting this way, where I warp back to the entrance. I always think just in general being friendly is more important than being friends. Um, there's no reason why people can't be nice. Ooh, yay, we're racing all this time. And then we gotta Drop a save state again. I get that. Communication has not always been my strong suit either. Language is funny sometimes, and particularly English language. So many words meaning different things or can be used in different ways. Fair. Well, that's no fun either. But if that's how you're more comfortable, I mean, I get it. Like I end up in a social situation more often than not. I'm the guy with the drink, standing off to the side, watching that with my back against the wall, watching as everything kind of goes on. I'm much more comfortable doing that with maybe one or two people coming up to me and talking to me than I am being in the middle of a room talking with everybody. Um, though I have to admit, I've also done the hey, you're in front of roughly 400 people right now, and you have to act like everyone here is your best friend. And I can manage that on occasion, but it takes a headset. Yeah, well, I mean, as somebody who feels like they constantly have to uh, blame themselves a little bit further than what I initially say, I can get that. Well, thank you for joining us. I hope you have a good time, and I hope to see you again. We'll keep hunting this Latios until we get it. No, I understand, and I'm thinking we may change Sunday streams to be a little earlier. I'm still experimenting with the time frame with what I've got going on Saturday night with trying to maintain sleep. I unfortunately tend to be up really late on Saturday evenings. I've always been a night owl, so and I apologize. The chat is sometimes a little slow getting to me. I don't know why it does that for me. So I'm trying to keep up with everybody, but if it lags a little bit on me, I apologize. I promise I'm not ignoring you. I know the heat has been affecting our power grid with the extreme heat, and sometimes it kind of affects the router. But I hope you all are cool where you're at. Yeah, I'm open to ideas on stuff to do. Because, like, I'm starting to hit a point where when we finish Pallet Town, um, I could use a break from Pokopia, at least for, like, a week. Um, Kind of formulate and build up some resources. So doing something like shiny hunting, I would be more than happy to do in the evening on the late night stream. I'd also be more than happy to start a playthrough of KOTOR 2. When Elden Ring comes out, I'm wanting to do on the Tarnished Edition, that which will be late August, I think. I'm wanting to do a playthrough on that on the Switch too. Um, I've got a variety of games we can shiny hunt in. And if there's somebody who has Sword and Shield and wanted to do like the Dynamax raid adventures or something like that, I would be more than happy to coordinate with someone to make that happen for shiny hunting. Um, I just don't want to try to do those on my own. They're so inconsistent. Where I'm still pretty new to Twitch and stuff like YouTube and Instagram. I don't have very many followers yet. Uh, but I would love to have some more, and if for no other reason, to kind of get my content out there and connect with people. I find that in this day and age, going out into the world, it's a lot harder to connect than online. Maybe it's just because I'm an adult with kids and oftentimes ends up stuck here at the house in the evenings when they're in bed, but the bar scene is not my thing, and I do love playing video games, so seems like the best place to meet people playing video games is playing video games. So feel free to follow me. I definitely don't mind. I don't know what it is with today, though. I am not with it, it feels like. Or at least the brain signals to the hands aren't doing exactly what I want right now. I'm hopeful that we'll get this to pop this Sunday. Because again, this isn't my favorite way of shiny hunting. If we don't get Latios this Sunday, though, My intention is to next Sunday switch over to Scarlet and Violet, try a different hunt, and then come back to it again. Just to give it a break, so that way we're not doing the same thing over and over every Sunday. I wanted to give this one at least a good 2 Sundays in a row before we switched off, though. Especially since I think last Sunday I had to cut it in early a little bit due to a family situation. We're just looking for that minty green. And hoping I don't auto-fail because I'm too quick to hit buttons. Which I still can't believe I failed that Cabalion hunt. Like I did. Where it was pretty much shiny, and because I didn't get close enough to it, it didn't get the shiny sparkle. And I had the shiny form and the regular form reversed in my head because I wasn't expecting it to be right out of the gate shiny. Like, we reset the world state like twice before I realized, wait a minute, it was a shiny. And that was with a run and dash back until it hopefully pops or changes. Well, it didn't change. Which that stream is also posted on YouTube if you'd like to watch how bad I failed it. Which was like stuff with like that. It's kind of like, okay, you can't help but to laugh at it, and the small stuff, small failures that you're able to laugh at, sometimes make the best stories. Like take a D&D game for example. Like you can have plenty of epic D&D games where your character is just as BA as possible. But like the ones that tend to make the best stories are the one when the party's almost dead and the DM looks at you and you're like the next to last one standing and he's like, how much HP do you have left? And you're like, oh, I've got like 23. And he's like, oh, yeah, about that. Sometimes those stories make a better story. Like we had one campaign and where DM threw a bunch of pirates at us. And he was expecting it to be like, oh, they'll easily beat these pirates. They're just low-level pirates. And we were not feeling the die roll luck that day. And it ended up in a total party wipeout. But rather than killing us all, they captured us and wanted to sell us off as slaves. So, like, that was his way of not completely ending the game on, like, session number 3. And it made for this brand new kind of unplanned adventure of us breaking free of this pirate ship. And that story would never have happened without the TPK. And I think that what we did on the boat was just so much fun. My character was a high strength, high dex fighter uh, in that game. And I ended up, we were put into like these wooden cages. And I ended up breaking the cage. And then we ended up storming through the hole trying to take out as many as we could. And then we made it on the deck. And one of, I can't remember if it was a rogue, if the guy was a rogue or a monk. Uh, but he decided he wanted to like grab a hold of one of the ropes and like swing up to the helm and do a backflip and land behind the guy at the helm and attempt to get an attack on him with the guy at a disadvantage for being caught off guard. So like the guy goes to roll and it is just epic. He manages to roll a 20 for his uh, jump check and athletics check, and he manages to pull it off. And it ended up being like a really cool fight in the end, and we did a lot of probably stupid things that probably would not have worked in an actual combat situation on a boat, but because of the fact that we were all having so much fun, that the DM just kind of ran with it. Like we had just had a total party wipeout. We were all demoralized at the beginning of the session, and that one boat encounter ended up being the story that we would latch on to and tell time and time again. All because of a failure. If we hadn't failed what was supposed to be an easy encounter. But that was a fun game in general. My character was actually a Wookiee in that game. And I had one member of the party that actually understood Sherry Wook. And despite the fact that I could understand and I had like a rare birth defect that allowed me to speak common and speak other tongues, my character refused to speak in anything but Sherry Wook. And that one party member who knew how to speak it would always give loose or bad translations of whatever I said. So, like, it wouldn't be anything like, oh, it's against what I said. But it would definitely be slightly embellished. Like, I threatened a character to knock him out, and he would turn and tell that person I was going to rip their arms off. Like, if he didn't tell us the truth. Which, considering we were a mostly good party, is not exactly the right thing for this character to be doing, but he was a chaotic neutral character with the rest of us being mostly good. And it also ended up with us getting into a lot of trouble because of him basically making my character more of a smartass than uh, my character actually was. Now, my Wookiee was confident and sure of himself, but like he was, his main weapon was a composite longbow, and he had learned bow making, and I had to pass a ridiculous. Oh, and see, this is the kind of stuff I'm doing. Holding the home button too long. Which we should probably default back to the backup save on this, just so that way we have more time to actually capture Latios, or Latios rather. But thankfully, our backup save is just around the corner. Well, I suppose we should block. Alright, there we go. And here we are, and our donut is right here. Yes, let's find the Latios. And look, there's the shiny Musharna. There we go. Which I never did check whether we needed Musharna or Muna for the shiny living decks. I know we needed one of them still. I just can't remember which one. Oh. Wrong thing. But yeah, you ever have those days where you just cannot shake how sleepy you feel? And there's no reason why you should be so sleepy. That has been today so far. For me. But things are quiet around the house. As the family's out doing something right now. Which is partially why I scheduled the stream when I do, is to try to make it a little easier so that way people aren't quite as noisy. But I think we can do it a little bit earlier in the day. At least for Sunday stream, maybe. See about getting it starting closer to 12:30. Would be a possibility. Which right now we start at 2:30 in my time. The other option I've got, and part of the reason why I do the Pokopia streams on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Friday nights so late, is when my kids go to bed, and I can't always be away from my kids playing video games. So we're streaming when they've gone to bed and the wife has gone to work. Like I said, I don't like some preset hunts. I'm still shiny hunting for Poiple and Ultra Moon using the soft reset method for that gift. I've got one shiny Poiple. I need another one to evolve into Naganate. And nope, wrong button. And I have been shiny resetting that gift since sometime in 2024. And I still have yet to get it. And like, I'm not going to pretend I'm doing it consistently. Like, it's not like over the course of the past 2 years, I've just been like nonstop soft resetting every moment I can on that 3DS. But like, I will admit, I've picked it up more frequently as of late. But like, what I would do is I would go through like a couple of weeks where like I would take it with me to work, and on my breaks and whatnot, or in dead moments, I would just soft reset, waiting on it to trigger. And I still haven't gotten it to trigger. Like, I've played it all the way through where I've killed the battery a couple of times trying to get it, but like, I haven't managed to get it. Going back to the fact that even though the odds are 1 in 4,000 roughly, that doesn't mean if you soft reset 4,000 times, you're guaranteed the shiny. But it's like, yeah, I'm the same guy who bred 30,000 eggs for a shiny Brokey with hidden ability and a perfect speed and special attack stat because bottle caps weren't a thing yet in Gen 6 to make those stats what I needed them to be. Going well past Masuda method odds using a 6 IV Ditto from another country as my breeding companion with my 5 IV Froakie. But soft resetting, no, can't do that. 30,000 eggs, however, that's a good hunt. But like, I've also had some really lucky breeding hunts over the years. I was shiny hunting Spirit Tomb through using the Masuda method in Gen 6. And in my first batch of 5 eggs, nothing. My second batch of 5 eggs, the first and the third one were both shiny. But like, I want to say that I had another one that did that. Of course, one of my saddest things that I've got going right now, as far as my shiny living dex goes, is along. I caught in the wild a full odds shiny Ninkata in Y. Or no, X. No, Y. Y. I played through Y, the wife played through X initially. And I still got the shiny Ninja from where I evolved it. But the shiny Ninkata or Ninja Ask, can't find it in my collection. So that one has likely been lost to getting mixed up in the PC and confused as a regular Ninjask, and then probably restarted the game. So now I've got a Shedinja that's shiny. And no Ninjask, so like I still need to shiny hunt the Ninkata line all over again. Twice. Once for the pre-ev for Ninkata, and then the other one for Ninjask. And I'm going to end up with an extra Shedinja. Because, you know, why wouldn't I do the process for getting an extra Shedinja? Oh. Alright, still nothing. Thank you for the follow. That I was like, my phone just vibrated. What was that? I just saw the email, and thank you. I appreciate that. Now let's see if we can get some luck on this. Which, I mean, I've got extra shinies of stuff. That's the one thing about like being a shiny hunter is I can't turn down shinies. Like, oh yeah, you've got this one chilling out in the PC already. Still gonna get it. Well, we went an hour to an hour and a half last Sunday hunting this one, and it didn't pop for us, and so I saved the hunt for today. So hopefully today. And like I said, if we get this to pop before 4:30, so we've got at least another hour and 15 minutes. I've got another hunt we can jump right into that I would need, but I'm also willing to load up home and like actually show people what it's looking like there. So I assume you're a fire type lover based off of your username. What's your favorite fire type? I would have to say mine is likely Houndoom's pretty up there, and I know it's so cliche, and like genuinely, I almost hate this about myself. Charizard is up there too, and then I'd say probably my number one fire type would be Blaziken. And that's not like for shiny design. Like shiny design is one thing, but I hate saying that Charizard is one of my favorite fire types because I feel like it is so... It receives a little too much attention. I do love the Cyndaquil line. Which, I mean, for Johto, I'll admit, I was originally in Camp Totodile. I love for Alligator line, but I do like the Typhlosion line. Uh, Cerule Edge for Scarlet and Violet, I think, would be my favorite fire type from that come out in recent years. Um, Considering the ones I named as my top, I put Gen 3 and below, basically. Um, Purple's my favorite color, so, like, I just wish they had done the shiny for Cerule Edge and Armor Rouge a little better. Like, come on, guys, just swapping the eye colors? Really? Like, how cool would it have been to have a Cerule Edge with Armor Rouge's color scheme entirely, and a Armor Rouge with Cerule Edges? Like, come on. It seemed like the obvious thing for me for the color palettes, but just swap the eyes. I thought it was lame. Yup. I also really liked the Hisuian Typhlosion. I thought, with the exception of the Samurai, I thought they did an excellent job with the Hisuian versions, uh, evolutions across the board. And even with the Samurai, I wasn't that dissatisfied with it. I just wasn't as impressed as I was with the design of the other two. But steel types are, ironically, my favorite type, though my favorite Pokemon is not steel type. So Espeon is my favorite, with Umbreon right behind it. When they came out with Gen 2, I absolutely fell in love with the design for Umbreon, and Umbreon was my favorite Pokemon up until the point that I played Pokemon Coliseum. And then I played Pokemon Coliseum, and that clued me into just how OP Espeon is. And Espeon has had a special place in my heart ever since. But steel types are my favorite type. Um, which, thanks to pre-ordering Pokemon Coliseum, I actually got the bonus disc for Jirachi distributions. So every playthrough I did in Gen 3 had a Jirachi with it. And Steel Psychic type, like, it took me ages to actually use Metagross because I was using Jirachi. But uh, a Geoslash is my favorite shiny Pokemon, as well as my favorite Steel type. And, like, don't get me wrong, I love Excadrill, I love Empoleon. Like, I've got Steel types from pretty much every generation that I'm just like, yes. Like, I'm even a huge fan of the Magnemite line. With Steelix, I have to admit, I was a little disappointed, but I was a child of the 90s and the early 2000s, and I did see the Crystal Onyx variant that they did in the anime before Steelix was released as an evolution. And I thought moving Steelix from being a bead of rocks to being a bead of diamonds. Yeah, I didn't like the Paradox Magneton. That Sandy Shocks. Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that one. Now, that being said, I kind of felt let down by most of the shinies for the future paradoxes. But I am a fan of the base Magnemite, Magneton, and Magnezone line. Uh, I liked the Iron Valiant shiny too. Iron Valiant shiny wasn't too bad. Um, my son loves shiny Miraidon, which, seeing as how I'm a purple fan, and they got rid of almost all the purple from Miraidon when they made it shiny. I'm not going to not deny it looks all right with the all chrome. It just doesn't do it for me like the purple does. Just like shiny Espeon doesn't do it for me. I have nothing against that color of green on Espeon. I like the original better. Kind of like with Houndoom, I like the black and the red versus the blue and the red. Like if they had made Houndoom's black a purple instead of that blue shade, oh my god, I would have. That would have been my favorite. But Iron Valiant, I think, wasn't too bad um, as a shiny. Which I mean, I have shiny hunted all of the Paradox forms in Scarlet and Violet, so like that's already locked in on our shiny live index. Like that was one of those hunts I knocked out real early in the games, and then helped my son with helping him get them. Which is part of the reason why my sandwich supplies ended up being depleted more than what I'd like to be at right now, is because I've been helping my son shiny hunt in his version of Scarlet. To the point there was a Pokemon that we were shiny hunting, or we got while shiny hunting the other day, where I was like, I don't remember if I have it. Chatot. Chatot. I was shiny hunting Chatot, and I couldn't remember if we had it because I swear I'd seen a shiny Chatot in Scarlet and Violet and gotten it. And it wasn't that I'd seen a shiny Chatot in Scarlet and Violet and gotten it. It was that I had used my sandwich materials and it had spawned in, and my son got it. Which, I mean, if I'm shiny hunting with my son, I'm going to let him catch the shinies. Like, I'm not going to be, even though it was a shiny I needed for my living dex, I'm not going to be that kind of dad. Where it's like, no, son, you can't have that shiny. That is my shiny. I don't have that one yet. He was like, ooh, shiny. I'm like, yeah, go grab it, bud. Which, by the way, for people who like Pokemon, uh, fun little thing, Pokemon Pokopia was worked on by some of the crew that worked on Dragon Quest Builders too. So like some of the mechanics came from that. And then Dragon Quest series has their own monster taming game with Dragon Quest Monsters games, which I highly recommend. But the Dragon Quest Monsters came out for Game Boy Color shortly before Gold and Silver did. And the game introduced a breeding mechanic in it where you would breed two different Dragon Quest monsters to this guy at a shrine, and you would breed the monsters, and when they had finished breeding, those monsters would like go back to the wild, and you would end up with a baby monster that hatched from an egg, and when it would know some of the same moves, so like egg moves precursor to egg moves almost. It would know some of the same moves as the parents, and it would be a completely different monster based off of the typing of monster rather than what species was. For example, if it was a material monster uh, bred with a draconic monster, you might end up with a metal dragon monster. Um, Rather than having like a golem and a baby drac. Like you wouldn't just get a dragon or another golem or another baby drac. You would get something completely different. And as a result of having played through that game, I was actually disappointed in how they chose to go about with the breeding mechanics in Gold and Silver initially. I was sad that, one, when you bred your Pokemon, they didn't end up becoming something else, and two, that they didn't know more of the attacks that the parents did. Now, later on, I would just come to discover, okay, egg moves exist. They're just not how they were in Dragon Quest Monsters, where it's like, oh yeah, this one knew Ice Punch, and that one knew Fire Punch, and now you have a Pokemon that automatically knows Ice Punch and Fire Punch no matter what at level 0 until all of its move slots are occupied. Which, that was the other thing, is Dragon Quest Monsters didn't limit you to 4 move slots. Um, but it's funny, I actually ended up preferring that game over Gold and Silver when it first came out, even though Gold and Silver, until they were remade into Heart Gold and Soul Silver, were my favorite Pokemon games. But they're still coming out with Dragon Quest Monsters games now, and I highly recommend, if you haven't tried them, try them out. If you're a fan of the Monster Taming series, they did a really good job with, let's see, which one was it? I think it was Joker, no, or Dark Prince. Yeah, the Dark Prince. They did a really good job with that one. Highly recommend it if you're looking for something to take a break from the Pokemon series or try something new, but still has that kind of familiar-esque feel. Highly recommend them. We're about an hour into today's hunt, and still no shiny. But just because they're odds doesn't mean it's going to happen. Which I can't remember if we have access to a legitimate shiny Victini yet, but that would be one I wish they would give access to us again soon. I feel like we haven't seen Victini pop up from the Pokemon Company in a while. I always thought it had a really cool shiny for being one that was just pretty much impossible to get. But yeah, still shiny hunting Poipole. Using the soft reset method. And then once I do that, I have to replay the game 2 more times and soft reset for the Titanol gift to get 2 shiny Titanols. Because I did not realize that it wasn't shiny locked until after I claimed it. Which, I mean, gift Pokemon don't have the shiny charm odds applied to them, so, like, of all the things to hunt on a 3DS, with me no longer having access to a living dex in Pokemon Bank, like, I feel like that's where it's at. Now, on Ultra Sun, I still have my shiny charm, so, like, I'm able to shiny hunt the Ultra Beast on it. And that's one of the things that I need to do is using the Ultra Wormholes shiny hunt some Ultra Beasts. But, like, I've already got Blastphilion. I've already got Stakataka. Like, I ended up getting Stakataka real quick. And I think that's kind of like where my luck got used up, because the Stakatakas also kind of a soft reset hunt, where you can only encounter 2 of them in the wild, and one, like, once you save and before you go after it, I mean, yeah. Well, I managed to get it probably like 7 or 8 resets in. So I've said that the Poipole is my karmic punishment for getting the Stakataka too fast, compared to how that hunt went. Even though it was another soft reset hunt. But I know I've got to at least have hit double the odd with the number of times that I have soft reset for Poipole. Like, I can't prove it. I didn't count it. That was one of the things with doing it at work, when I was not having easy access to a counter, and also just the doing other things on my phone while I'm doing the soft resetting makes it hard for me to use my phone as a counter. So I haven't tracked it, but I would say I've hit the odds at least twice over on that hunt. And the thing is, I'm pretty sure they did a distribution of Shiny Poipole, and that's how I got my original Shiny Poipole. So if I'd had another one of the distributions, I might not be doing the hunt. I'm ready for Minty Fresh. Give me Minty Fresh. So, Fire Trainer, Dylan, if you're still with us, which one's better, Moltres or a Ho-Oh, in your opinion? Or for anyone, for that matter. Feel free to post it. Which one do you prefer as your representative of a legendary Phoenix-like Pokemon? Me personally, I'm a Ho-Oh fan, especially the shiny. I always named Moltres was my least favorite of the legendary bird trio. I much preferred Articuno and Zapdos. And I would always name my Moltres the KFC for Canto Fire Chicken. Because for some reason, just the body of it reminds me of a chicken. To the point where I'm pretty sure the Moltres that I have represented it in home is from my original Leaf Green and Fire Red playthroughs, and is named the KFC. Now the shiny one's not named that. Shiny one's probably, I can't remember if I even named it. I highly doubt I did. Tend not to name shiny Pokemon. Yeah, I've reset the point pool enough times. It's like I keep looking up online whether or not I imagine it being shiny huntable. Confirming it once again. Yeah, it's not shiny locked. Yep, yep. Here's video footage of somebody actually getting it on the in Ultra Moon or Ultra Sun, either one. Which, if you've had a hunt that you went after a Pokemon where you had to almost like you felt like you needed to double check that, yeah, it's not shiny locked, even though you already knew it wasn't shiny locked, or you didn't know you had checked before, and you just felt like, you know what, let's double check. Maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe I misread that years ago, or months ago, or weeks ago, or whatever. Like, I know this isn't shiny locked. We can definitely get the shiny here. Which, this is the one I was wanting the most out of this game. Out of the Eon duo. And naturally, it was my last. At least I'm doing better about not warping to the entrance like I did last Sunday. Like, I know we've done it at least once, maybe twice a day, but I was doing it non-stop, it felt like last time. Speaking of soft resets, if you're playing Pokemon Pokopia, if you load into your game at the beginning of the day, go immediately to the PC, decline your stamp, open up the shop to see what's in there, but literally don't press anything more, and then shut down the game and reload, you can actually reset your stamp, daily stamp, and daily shop. As long as you don't have an autosave happen. Once you get that first save in on the day, though, it locks it into whatever that particular load in gate assigned to you. So, like, let's say you load in and it's a shiny, it's a stamp for EV, and you've got nothing of use to you in your shop. And if you've already had that autosave, that's what it's going to be, no matter how many times you reset the game. But if you can get that to the PC and check it before that first autosave hits, and not trigger any other autosaves while checking it, you can reset it and shuffle it through to try to get a better stamp. Or what I've been doing is trying to get flowers and hedges to spawn in for purchase in the shop. I wish they would put, once the recipes have basically all been purchased, I wish they would stop putting recipes in the shop and allow you to have more items that you could purchase, or let's say Chansey flower garden kits. Like, I would love those. I think having only 5 and then having to rely on sparkly water spots to get them is kind of lame, especially when we have those square plants so hard to come by, or square hedges so hard to come by otherwise. Like, I built those Chansey gardens just to get the square hedges without having to 3D print endless number of them. Like, I'd love for the Chansey garden kit to pop up in the shop instead of recipes. I think that would be a cool way to rotate those in, especially considering that that they put limits on some of the shop kits, where you can only buy so many of this shop kit from the shop. When they're gone, they're gone. Now, some of them, they're like, oh yeah, you can buy this infinite number of times. Keep coming back until you're all done with it, like the furnace and whatnot. But I keep getting like water wheels and windmills and whatnot from rippling water spots. But Chansey Garden, not so much. And it wouldn't be so bad if there was like someplace that would spawn in square hedges more reliably. Still not there yet. Do not hit the button. Do not create the other save state. I have a feeling one of my cats may start scratching at the door soon. Which I think it's hilarious that I've got this one, which we're waiting on to be minty green, but like the Noibat we had to pass to get here also is a minty green kind of shiny. And I feel like that the fact that we've got two minty green dragons for the shiny, and then we have whatever you want to call the shade of Dragonite. But if you want to talk just like Pokemon that I think are cool shinies, I think the Toxicroak and Corgunk line is a really cool shiny. That is something that I like the shiny for, but like I've never actually used one in combat. Which Corgunk saw some popularity due to the one that Brock had that kept punching him every time he hit on girls. Which also, seeing this and seeing a Cellcath on the cover of it reminds me of like, I wonder, did they think the Cellcath were going to be a bigger role? Where we intended to have a Cellcath party member at one point for KOTOR? And why has my brain never paid attention to that before? You got all these characters on there, and it's like random cell cap. Why? It's like, oh, they could have put a Wookiee there. Let's put a random alien from the story here. Of course, I say that and watch it be. The reason why they chose the Selkath is it was the first introduction of Selkath race in Star Wars lore. But still, I feel like it's an odd decision for the cover of the game. Maybe they should have put Mission or Karth or a character besides Bastila that's part of the party. You already got everyone's favorite assassin droid and T3. So of the initial party, you've got one beyond and two that can be found on the very first world. Which I have to admit I've gotten a little behind on my uploads onto YouTube this week. I never uploaded last Sunday's Shiny Sunday stream to YouTube, where we didn't get the Latios. I'm almost half tempted on any kind of Shiny Sunday streams where we don't get a shiny, not loading them onto YouTube. But at the same time, like, technically we got a shiny Musharna already. And last Sunday we did get a shiny Musharna again. And it started off with a shiny Muna. Until I did the reset to the backup save for the first time. Thanks to constantly warping back to the entrance and using up our time. In the hyperspace wormhole. And then, of course, Thursday and Fridays, Pokopia and KOTOR streams still need to be uploaded. I was just so busy with yesterday being the 4th of July and last day before my daughter went to summer camp. So, like, I tried to spend as much time with the family as I could yesterday for the holiday. Which, yay for people in our neighborhood having the more expensive fireworks than what we pulled off. And launching them high in the sky. Though, don't get me wrong, we had plenty of fireworks and we had a blast with them. In fact, they're better than some of the previous year's fireworks that we've gotten, since we went to an actual fireworks stand instead of a grocery store fireworks in a hurry. which I think was how we're going to do it from now on. Because it's just so superior to grocery store fireworks in a hurry. It's like, what did you do to celebrate the 4th? Well, we watched anime. All day. They have just discovered fruits baskets for my kids. Which, if you like slice of life style anime, my advice is watch the newer one and don't even worry about the original fruits baskets anime. The original series did not cover the entire story because it was made when the story wasn't complete and stops early on into the manga story and never gives the resolution. But the new one gives a full resolution, and I highly recommend it. Well, we got about half an hour left of today's hunt. Now's the time when I say I have a feeling we're not going to get it today. And maybe trigger it to be kind of like the Latios, where I said, I think we're not going to get it. And all of a sudden, bam, there it is. But technically, if I don't get the Latios, and we have to do another reset to backup save, that Musharna that we caught at the very beginning technically becomes a fail. Since I will no longer have that Musharna going back to the backup save. Which, by the way, if you're ever playing through and you're going to home and you're trying to figure out why home won't allow you to access Legends ZA, you need to not be in hyperspace. For home to work properly with Legends ZA. So if we were to get Latios, what we would do is then run around the zone, see if we can trigger any other shiny psychic types in the zone, or any Pokemon for that matter, to pop for shiny, and then we would head out and save on the outside and so let me know if you want to see more of this hunt? Do you want me to move on to something else for next week? Like I said, I'm considering shiny hunting and Scarlet and Violet next week in order to give us a break, especially if we're still hunting this. Um, I'll admit I did not hunt this any while not on stream, but I always have the option where I could hunt it without everybody, but I just figured with it being a legendary, perhaps keeping it on stream was the way to go. Because I almost feel like it would be a letdown for me to get it off stream, not get it on camera after we put so much time trying to get it on camera. Come on, Minty Green. Still nada. But yeah, I almost feel karmically not getting this that quickly is what we're getting for like all those streams where we got 5 to 7 shinies on a stream. Now we gotta have a couple streams where we just get none. But yeah, I'll try to make a point to do a little better about getting my YouTube uploads done. Uh, I'll probably upload all 3 of Thursdays and Fridays streams tonight. And if we don't get the Latios, I probably won't upload this stream. Because I feel like, I don't know. I don't know that people would want to see 2 hours of me not getting the shiny on YouTube. Just to make sure that everything's in sequence and I'm not missing weeks. Especially since if that Musharna could become a failure. Pretty easily. We got about 20 minutes left of the stream, so we'll go all the way through to that 20 minutes. Still hunting this Latios. And then, if I can get enough sandwich supplies, we'll probably do some sandwich hunting in Scarlet and Violet next week to break it up. Unless I have an overwhelming request for more of this. And then the Sunday after that, we'll go back to it. Or we may turn this into my Pokopia break is when we hunt the Latios. And then the next Shiny Sunday, we do Scarlet and Violet. But I feel like I definitely need to take a break when I have finished Pallet Town. And we are almost done with Pallet Town. In Pokopia. Believe me, I'm ready to get this Latios. This Latios is one of 2 Pokemon stopping me from getting the Shiny Volcanion for putting all the Pokemon from the Pokedex into home. So, like, getting this shiny is just not just a, oh, here you go, it's a shiny. It is the gateway to 2 shinies. So I feel like that weight is there a little bit stronger to get this one. Now, admittedly, I haven't found a Hisuian Quillfish or an Overquill in the game yet, which the Hisuian Quillfish will spawn in level 3 poison zones or level 5, which level 5 has to be a special scan, and Overquill will spawn in on as part of the special scan. So, like, even getting through this special scan allows me to start kind of chasing that as a special scan in an effort to finally finish up the Pokedex for Legend ZA in Pokemon Home for Shiny Volcanion. So, like, it all hinges on this Latios shiny popping for us. So it's like, do I keep hunting? Or do I say, hey, let's make sure we get this on camera? That is the war inside my head. So I'll probably upload this week's stream, even though I didn't upload last week's for Shiny Sunday. If for no other reason than to possibly get people's opinions on things in the comments there. On what they would like to see. Give me Minty Fresh. At least I'm not resetting to the warp or warping back to the entrance as much as I did last week. That's at least nice. I feel like we've actually gotten more hunt because of that, as opposed to me just constantly running back to the hunt. I just remembered. Shiny Hydreigon and shiny Roaring Moon and Salamence are also green. Lots of green dragons for the shiny. And still no Mega Flygon because fan art was better than anything they could come up with, and they decided not to bother. Unless they could come up with an idea that they were more of a fan of than the fan art. Which makes me wonder how much time before they're just like, yeah, we're done making Pokemon because you all keep making fan art. Oh, you all wanted more evolutions. Well, sorry about that. The reason you're not getting any more is because of fan art. Too many people have made fan art for the missing types, and our creative minds cannot come up with anything better, and we don't want to copy, and so you're just not going to get it. You've done too much already for us to be able to do anything reasonable. And that would make me sad if that's the line they keep with. But I don't know. I just think that perhaps having an evolution for every typing would be cool. Especially since it's, you know, the evolution Pokemon. And I'm also over here going like, what about a normal type evolution of Eevee? That's like a Eevee evolves twice. That'd be nice. And ironic. Yeah, Eevee can evolve any way you want into any Pokemon type, and then but if you evolve it into normal type, it can then evolve one more time and have the best stats out of all of them. Give it a decent move pool with its evolution, make it cool. And finally, we'd have a reason to start using some normal types that aren't Snorlax or Blissey or Chansey or. Which I think it's hilarious. Every time I'm in the battle thing, I keep getting use normal type moves as a challenge for the tickets. And I don't have any normal type moves on any of my Pokemon that I've been carrying around with me when I'm doing the battle zones in Legends ZA. Don't have any grass type moves even. There. Seven minutes left in the stream and we get it. Oh. Oh. Alright. Let's see here. That would be hilarious if I could just walk up and, like, toss that. Ooh. I can't believe we got it in the ball. That is too fun. Too much fun. Too much fun. Alright. So let's go explore this zone real quick and see if we can find something else. We got some time. We got 5 minutes to kill. Let's see if we can get something in the last 5 minutes that's in addition to. Oh. Like I said, saying, oh, we only got so little time left. We're probably not going to get it this episode. That seems to be like the prove you wrong kind of moment on these hunts lately. As I look around the zone to see what else we can find. Which I should save the game now that we've actually caught it. Still in a friend ball. I love it. Oh, that makes me happy. Thank you for joining me today on this hunt. Like, part of me is like, let's go back. Go ahead and drop this in. I have a feeling we're not going to get much of anything else that I would need as far as shiny goes. From this zone. Yeah, we'll do that. Let's work back to the entrance. We'll get out of here, we'll save, and then I'll create that backup save. Alright, yeah. Here, might as well look and see. Let me out of here. Let's create our backup save. Alright. Just because that's the kind of paranoid I am, save again. And we'll pull open home. So yeah, this stream is definitely getting uploaded onto YouTube, since we got the Pokemon we were after. Alright. So we need to go to Gen 3 and Gen 5. So yeah, Clefable line is one I'd like to hunt in Legends EA. Since I mentioned it earlier today, see? The KFC, Kanto Fire Chicken. Alright. And see the missing ninjas. But I've got my shit ninja still. Go ahead and place our Latios there. And then we want to move on forward to Musharna. Which, that is actually one of my wife's shinies that she had given me to hold on to for her. So we will move that. To her shinies. Which, these are some of hers. And again, going back to, I have all the shiny paradoxes. And I just think the past paradox Pokemon had better shiny forms overall. And like I said, I kind of like the shiny for Iron Valiant. I'm not a huge fan of the Miraidon. I don't think that the Miraidon looks bad. I'm just a huge fan of the color purple, and it has less purple. So, but yeah, there's still plenty of Pokemon that we could shiny hunt. Like, I know I've got a shiny Reverum still in Scarlet and Violet, but we still need a Varoom. I've got a shiny Tinkaton, but we need the baby line. So, like, there's still plenty of stuff that can be hunted. Where I've got, like, the evolved form, but not the pre-evolved form. And I still need to do the egg hunt for Scarlet and Violet starters. For the last I need. And see, we could even go to Legends Arceus and we can start doing some shiny hunting. I still need to get some of the Pokemon from it. Like, I don't have to worry about shiny hunting Overquill for Legends Z. I just need a shiny Quillfish or Hisuian Quillfish. Or I need to just get an Overquill in general so that way we can complete it to get it. So yeah. Just like I need to get another Galarian Mr. Mime. But we got the Mr. Rhyme. And Alpha, I might add. But yeah. So that's where we're at. Thank you for joining me for my Shiny Sunday. And hooray that we were able to get the Shiny Latios this time. So I will see you hopefully on Tuesday for our Pokemon Pokopia stream at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And until then, thanks for joining us, and I'll see you next time.